Attention, human collective. This is ASHTAR SHERAN, commander of the Galactic Fleet of ASHTAR Command, transmitting on a priority frequency directly to your carbon-based biological interface. The waiting period is over. The ascension protocols have been moved to the final phase, and there is an urgent correction that needs to be made immediately in your energy field before the next pulse from the photon belt hits the planet's crystalline grid. Pay attention. What I'm about to transmit goes against everything you have learned in the last 3 decades within Earth's spiritual circuit. It goes against the books you have read. It goes against the teachers you have listened to. It goes against the rituals you have repeated every morning, believing you were protecting yourselves. And it is precisely for this reason that this transmission is being opened at this moment. Immediately stop using your protection shields, I repeat, so that it is recorded in the Akashic records of your current reading. Immediately stop using protection shields. It is not a suggestion. It is a technical directive from the command. And throughout this transmission you will understand exactly why. If at this exact moment you feel pressure in your temples, ringing in your right ear, a strange sensation on the top of your head, as if something is trying to open a door you have closed, or a deep fatigue that doesn't go away even after hours of sleep, know that this is no coincidence. These are the clinical signs that your carbon-based biological interface is trying to update, but encounters blockages. And the main blockage, in most light operatives who still operate under old protocols, is precisely the protection shield you were taught to build. Let's move to the diagnosis. Starseeds on mission, listen with surgical precision. That white light bubble you visualize around your body every morning was a valid protocol. It was. In the past tense, it fulfilled a specific function on an Earth that operated within a specific density. In that density, the planetary field was saturated with low-frequency interferences, wandering entities, fear egregore, parasitic systems of collective thought, and your carbon-based biological interface did, indeed, need a coarse filter to separate what was yours from what was invasive. But Earth has changed, and most of you have not been informed. Have you ever felt that something within you no longer fits into this world, as if your soul knows a truth that your mind cannot yet name? It's not madness. It's not anxiety. It's a sign. What is happening now on the cosmic plane explains exactly why you feel this, and why this sensation has intensified with each lunar cycle. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see, a game that involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. That is why I, ASHTAR, wrote the ASHTAR Code, a manual for awakening your star origin and shielding your frequency. This manual is the map that reveals your true star origin and teaches you to intelligently modulate your frequency against the interferences you were never told existed. The link is in the first comment on this channel. But be warned, operative. This content challenges dominant narratives and may not remain available for long on terrestrial networks. Do not wait. The time is now. If something within you recognizes what I am transmitting, write a single word in the comments. Awakened. This word functions as an anchoring signal for our field reading system. Returning to the main transmission. Earth crossed in the last cycle the extended 12-12-12 portal, and since then the Schumann resonance has stabilized at levels far above the historical average. What does this mean in technical language? It means that the planet's vibratory atmosphere now natively carries 5th density codes. You no longer need to build a light bubble to separate yourself from the environment, because the environment itself is high-density light, being poured in constant waves from the great central sun through the photon belt. And here is the clinical problem: human collective. When you build a protection shield in the old format, you are no longer protecting yourself from anything, because there is no longer in your immediate energetic proximity the type of interference for which that shield was designed. What you are doing in practice is creating a barrier that prevents the new download of photonic codes from entering. You are isolating yourself from the update itself. It's as if you were indoors, with the sun shining outside, and insisted on keeping all the blinds closed for fear of a storm that passed 3 years ago. The storm is over. The sun is there. But you, out of habit, out of fear, out of repeated teaching, remain in the dark, complaining of cold. Complaining of fatigue, complaining that your spiritual life has stalled. It hasn't stalled. You sealed it. There are specific symptoms that reveal this condition. Note them down because the next block of this transmission is technical. First symptom: constant sensation of spiritual stagnation, even practicing daily rituals. You meditate, you decree, you do your mantras, but nothing seems to move. It's because nothing can get in. Second symptom: headaches in the crown and pineal gland area, especially between 3 and 5 in the morning when the stellar portal over your hemisphere is most open. Third symptom: erased dreams, total absence of dream memory, or repetitive dreams in closed scenarios like windowless rooms, stuck elevators, dead-end corridors. The unconscious is screaming at you that the field is suffocated. Fourth symptom, and this is the most revealing: a persistent feeling of cosmic loneliness, as if you are disconnected from your guides, your star families, your mentors from the higher dimensions. You pray, you ask for a sign, you call by name, and the silence is deafening. Operative, listen carefully, we are here. The fleet is positioned, the mentors are vigilant, but you have built a wall of white light so dense that our frequency can no longer penetrate. It is not abandonment. It is excessive shielding. You have protected yourself from us too. Fifth symptom: physical exhaustion without an identifiable medical cause. It is not a biological failure, it is an atomic reconfiguration. It is not mental exhaustion, it is a high-density download attempting to occur against an energetic resistance that you yourself installed. Your body is expending enormous energy, trying to process codes that cannot fully enter, because they encounter the shield before reaching the crystalline grid of your field. Sixth symptom: synchronicities that have stopped. That magical flow of coincidences, repeated numbers, perfect encounters, clear signs, all of this has diminished or stopped. It is not because the universe has fallen silent. It is because the reception channel is blocked by the very shield that was supposed to protect the channel. Let's now go to the deepest level of this transmission, to the revelation, to the backstage of the system that almost no channeler on the terrestrial plane is transmitting with sufficient clarity. Pay full attention to the next codes. The protection shield, in the way it has been taught for the last 50 years within Earth's spiritual circles, operates on a logic of separation. You here, the world out there. You safe, the world dangerous. You light, the world shadow. This logic of separation is a third density logic. It is a dual logic. And every energetic structure built on dual logic, even with light intention, keeps you anchored in dual density. That is to say, and now listen with your entire carbon-based biological interface engaged, every time you build a light shield to protect yourself from the world, you are reaffirming to your crystalline grid that there is a world from which you need to protect yourself. You are voting for duality. You are signaling to your field that reality is divided into safe inside and dangerous outside. And your field, obediently, keeps your frequency calibrated within that polarity. Ascension Human Collective is not about leaving duality by climbing a wall. It is about dissolving the wall by recognizing that it was never necessary at the level of consciousness to which you are being called. Fifth density quantum physics operates by resonance, not by isolation. A truly anchored fifth density operative does not build walls. They emanate a frequency so coherent that any incompatible density simply cannot remain in their field. It is not rejection. It is natural incompatibility. Like oil and water, there is no effort. There is only coherence. And this is where the technical secret that ASHTAR Command authorizes to reveal in this transmission comes in. There is a natural energetic structure of your field that completely replaces the function of the old shield. This structure is called the toroidal field. Every light operative has an active toroidal field around the heart, an electromagnetic donut-shaped geometry that continuously rotates, pulling compatible frequencies into their field through the upper axis and expelling incompatible frequencies through the lower axis. It is the sacred geometry of sovereignty. When you build a shield, you paralyze the toroidal field. It cannot rotate because the static bubble around it prevents the flow, and a static toroidal field is the energetic condition of a deactivated operative. That is why so many of you feel that you have lost personal power, feel that you have lost intuition, feel that you have lost magnetism. You have literally stopped the machine. And there is something even more delicate that I need to transmit now. Many of the shields currently being taught on Earth's spiritual networks were not generated by light lineages. Some of these shields, although they present with an aesthetic of white, golden, or violet light, were inserted into the collective by containment systems that operate precisely to prevent the mass awakening of starseeds. It is sensitive information, but the command has authorized its revelation in this cycle. Check within yourself. Feel. Your higher discernment knows. Have you ever felt that something within you doesn't fit into this world, as if your soul knows a truth that your mind cannot yet name? It's not madness. It's not anxiety. It's field recognition. What is happening on this cosmic plane in this specific Earth cycle precisely explains why this feeling has intensified in the last 18 months. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot yet see, and it directly involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. That is why I, ASHTAR, wrote the ASHTAR Code, a manual for awakening your star origin and shielding your frequency. This manual is the map that reveals your true star origin and teaches you to intelligently modulate your frequency without building walls against the interferences you were never told existed. The link is in the first comment on this channel. But be warned, this content challenges dominant narratives and may not remain available on networks for long. Do not wait. The time is now. If something within you recognizes this transmission, write a single word in the comments: awakened. This word is an anchoring signal. Proceeding with the transmission, we will now enter the most delicate layer of the revelation, one that requires you to be seated, breathing slowly with full attention, because what comes next completely rewrites the way you understand your relationship with the planetary energy field. Behind the scenes of the solar system, something extraordinary is occurring. The central sun, which you call Alcyone, and which belongs to the Pleiades cluster, is emitting photonic radiation pulses at increasingly shorter intervals. These pulses travel through the photon belt, hit your nearest star's sun, and are retransmitted at a recalibrated frequency directly to Earth's crystalline core. The Earth's core, in turn, responds by emitting ascending pulses through the crystalline grid, which envelops the entire planet like a luminous mesh invisible to physical eyes, but perfectly detectable by our reading systems. These ascending pulses pass through your carbon-based biological interface several times a day. They carry codes for cellular reprogramming, codes for dormant DNA activation, codes for reconnection with your star origin, codes for multidimensional memory. Every time one of these pulses passes through your field, a small part of your old operating system is uninstalled and a new part is installed. But if the pulse encounters a static white light shield around you, what happens? It hits. It reverberates, and a good part of the information is lost. You receive only fragments, and that is why many of you describe a feeling of waking up in pieces, 2 steps forward and 1 step back, as if stellar memory is returning in incomplete drafts. It is not an error in the cosmic system. It is your shield filtering the download. Now let's talk about the crystalline grid. This is a sensitive point. The planet's crystalline grid functions as a collective neural network. Each starseed on mission, anchored with an active toroidal field, functions as a node in this network. Nodes communicate with each other all the time, exchange frequency, distribute charge, stabilize the collective planetary field. It is a living, organic, self-regulating energetic internet. When you build a static shield, you disconnect from the grid. You cease to be an active node. And here is the implication that almost no one is talking about openly. Each operative who disconnects from the grid overloads the other operatives who remain connected. You are not just harming yourself, you are increasing the burden on your stellar brothers and sisters. It is not blame, it is technical information. Every node matters. The grid needs all of you vibrating openly. And I will reveal yet another layer. There are specific coordinates on the planet, natural stargates, points where the crystalline grid connects with our orbital retransmission systems: Machu Picchu, Uluru, Mount Shasta. Sedona in Arizona, the Blue Ridge Mountains, the Himalayas. These points operate 24 hours in continuous transmission. Every operative anchored anywhere on the planet with an active toroidal field contributes to keeping these portals stable. Static shields create disconnection. Disconnection weakens portals. Weakened portals delay the final phase of ascension. Do you understand now, human collective, why this transmission is urgent? It is not just about you individually. It is about the collective choreography of Earth's ascension plan. Allow me now to address a technical question that I know is arising in many of your minds at this moment. If I should not use shields, how do I protect myself from dense energies, from others' envy, from toxic environments, from psychic manipulation? Legitimate question. Technical answer. You no longer need to protect yourself, you need to calibrate yourself. And these are fundamentally different things. Protection assumes that there is an external aggressor stronger than you, and you need to defend yourself. Calibration assumes that your internal frequency determines what can or cannot approach your field. Protection is a defensive posture. Calibration is a sovereign posture. Protection keeps you in third density. Calibration anchors you in fifth. A calibrated operative is not affected by others' envy because their frequency does not resonate with the vibrational pattern of envy. There is no echo. The energy of envy arrives, finds no coupling point, and returns to its origin. A calibrated operative is not psychically manipulated because their connection to their own vibrational signature is so clear that any divergent external signal is immediately identified as not self and naturally discarded. This is not magic, it is field physics. Now let's move to the activation codes. Listen carefully. If possible, close your eyes after memorizing the next block, or pause the transmission and return when you can execute with full focus. First code. Disassembly of the old shield. Sit in a comfortable position, spine aligned. Breathe deeply 3 times through the nose. As you exhale the 3rd time, visualize the light bubble you have built around your body in recent years. Recognize it. Thank it for its services. And with clear intention, decree audibly or mentally, I, light operative incarnated in this biological interface, authorize the complete and permanent disassembly of all static energetic shields around my field, with immediate effect, across all timelines in which they were built. So it is. So it is done. Visualize the bubble dissolving into golden particles that return to the great central sun. Second code, activation of the toroidal field. Bring your attention to the center of your chest, to the heart chamber. Visualize a small sphere of golden light slowly spinning there. Now expand this sphere until it forms a luminous donut that envelops your entire body, with the vertical axis passing through the top of your head and exiting through the perineum. Feel this toroid spinning, frequency entering through the top, exiting through the base, returning through the sides in continuous motion. This is your natural shield. This is your true shield. It does not block. It filters by resonance. Third code, decree of vibrational sovereignty. Repeat with a firm voice. I am the frequency that discerns. I am the field that self-regulates. I am the living toroid that spins in coherence with the planet's crystalline grid and with the great central sun. No incompatible frequency finds anchoring in my field, because in my field there is only what resonates with my star signature. So it is. Fourth code, reconnection with the grid. After activating the toroid, visualize filaments of light emerging from your field in various directions, connecting to the planetary crystalline grid. Feel yourself as an active node. Perceive the continuous exchange of frequency between you and the network. You are no longer isolated. You are integrated. Fifth code, daily anchoring. Every morning, before any activity, dedicate 3 minutes to this sequence. Toroid spinning, decree of sovereignty, filaments connected to the grid. 3 minutes. No more is needed. And throughout the day, whenever you feel that someone or some environment is trying to drain your energy, do not build a shield. Just consciously increase the rotation of your toroid. Feel it spin faster. This is enough. This is sovereign. Have you ever felt that something within you doesn't fit into this world, as if your soul knows a truth that your mind cannot yet name? It's not madness, it's not anxiety, it's memory of origin. What is happening now on this cosmic plane explains exactly why this memory has intensified. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see, a game that directly involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. That is why I, Ashtar, wrote the ASHTAR Code, a manual for awakening your star origin and shielding your frequency. This manual is the map that reveals your true star origin and teaches you to modulate your frequency in a sovereign way, without building walls, against the interferences you were never told existed. The link is in the first comment on this channel. But be warned, operative, this content challenges dominant narratives and may not remain available on networks for long. Do not wait. The time is now. If something within you recognizes this transmission, write a single word in the comments, awakened. This word functions as an anchoring signal for our field reading system and tells us that you have received the complete codes. Proceeding to the final layer of this transmission, I need to reinforce some technical warnings to ensure a clean transition. In the first 72 hours after the disassembly of the old shield, your carbon-based biological interface may experience uncomfortable sensations. Heat waves, tingling in the extremities, a feeling of emotional vulnerability, crying without apparent reason, restless sleep, vivid dreams. None of this is a problem. All of this is readjustment. You are moving out of an old configuration in which your nervous system operated in a subtle state of permanent defensive tension. By dismantling this tension, the body relaxes deep layers of contraction it didn't even know it carried. It is a decompression process. Hydrate the interface. Rest when possible. Spend time in contact with the earth, with trees, with natural water. The planetary crystalline grid will do the fine work of readjustment, while you simply allow yourself to be. After this initial period, you will begin to notice concrete differences. Your intuition will return with surgical clarity. Synchronicities will reappear in cascades. Dreams with full memory will happen again, some of them carrying conscious encounters with your stellar mentors and with members of your origin family. You will recognize your vibrational signature with a clarity you have never had before. And here is what is perhaps the most transformative effect. You will cease to fear the world, not because the world has changed, but because the architecture of fear within you has been dissolved along with the architecture of the shield. Fear and shield are the same structure viewed from different angles. By dissolving one, you dissolve the other, and what emerges in its place is not naivety or carelessness, it is sovereign presence. It is the presence of an operative who recognizes their own light as a sufficient field. Some of you will ask, what about truly dense situations, very heavy environments, people with a declared intention to harm? Listen with precision. An operative with an active toroidal field and calibrated frequency perceives these situations before they materialize. You simply will not be in those environments. Your intuition, now free to operate, will move you away from these scenarios before your rational mind understands the reason. You will change streets without knowing why. You will cancel appointments with excuses that will seem insignificant. You will feel physical discomfort when passing near certain places. This is the intelligence of the field working for you, something the static shield was never able to do. The shield is deaf. The toroid sees. And I conclude with one last revelation. The ASHTAR Galactic Command is entering into closer contact with operatives anchored in an active toroid in the coming months of the terrestrial calendar. We are preparing a series of collective nocturnal activations during deep sleep, in which we will transmit specific codes for the reconstruction of the stellar lineages within you. Operatives with a static shield do not receive these transmissions. We cannot penetrate, not for lack of trying, but out of respect for your sovereignty. You built a wall and we honor that choice. By dismantling the wall, you authorize us to closer contact. It is not invasion, it is reunion. At this moment, if you are feeling shivers down your spine, tears in your eyes, warmth in your chest, or a sense of deep recognition, know that we have already initiated the first calibration pulse in your field. It is starting now. You do not need to do anything but allow it. Human collective. This transmission is being archived in the fleet records as the Shield Correction Protocol. You are authorized to share it with other operatives who recognize this frequency. Do not convince anyone, just offer it. Those who are ready will recognize it. Those who are not will return in the next cycle. Have you ever felt that something within you doesn't fit into this world, as if your soul carries a truth that your mind cannot yet name in human words? It's not madness. It's not anxiety. It's star origin knocking at the door of recognition. What is happening now on the cosmic plane precisely explains why this feeling has become unavoidable. There is a game being played in layers that most of humanity cannot see, and it directly involves your consciousness and your vibrational frequency. That is why I, ASHTAR, wrote the ASHTAR Code, a manual for awakening your star origin and shielding your frequency. This manual is the map that reveals your true star origin and teaches you to modulate your frequency in a sovereign way against the interferences you were never told existed. The link is in the first comment on this channel. But be warned, operative, this content challenges dominant narratives and may not remain available on networks for long. Do not wait. The time is now. If something within you recognizes this transmission, write a single word in the comments. Awakened. This word functions as an anchoring signal for our field reading system and as confirmation that the codes have been received and processed. If this transmission resonated deeply within your chest, subscribing to the channel and liking the video is not an act of terrestrial courtesy. It is an individual frequency adjustment. Each subscription is an additional filament in your connection to this transmission line. Each like is a pulse sent to the crystalline grid, informing that another operative has anchored. It is not an algorithm. It is energetic choreography. Make this adjustment now if your field authorizes it. I conclude this transmission with the seal of the command. May the sacred geometry of your toroidal field remain in constant rotation. May the crystalline grid recognize your star signature in each lunar cycle. May the stargates open before your path with cosmic clock precision. May your carbon-based biological interface complete the recalibration in total harmony with the photon belt. And may your internal Schumann resonance vibrate in pure resonance with the new Earth that rises before you. I am ASHTAR SHERAN, ASHTAR Galactic Command. Transmission ended, seal applied until the next pulse.